Magandang greetings, good day po. I am Christopher Zarate together with Carminal Siren Bins Nawa. This video is about our final case study. For our case study, we investigate how universal design, mobile responsive, collaborative computing, and ethical human-computer interaction or principle influence user engagement and inclusivity in mobile application. This principle aims to create user-friendly applications that are easy to use, navigate, responsive, accessible, and inclusive for all users. To explore this, we designed a prototype application using Figma with a focus on SCI principle, particularly for users with disability or physical impairments. Prior to developing the prototype, we conduct a survey using Google Form and distributed it to a random group of participants. The survey included questions related to usability, accessibility, and general user experiences with mobile application. Based on the survey result, we found that many respondents reported common issues with mobile application. This included difficulties in navigation, lack of ease of use, unclear interfaces, concern about the data privacy, lagging performance, and the presence of unnecessary features. This insight guided the design of our prototype to address the main points of promote more inclusive efficient user experience. Okay, for our prototype, Siren Noah Carmino will explaining our low fidelity or mid fidelity prototype.
Thank you, Christopher Zarate, for lending me the spotlight. Now, moving on to the explanation of our prototype, prototyping the results of the survey that we questioned. So, starting on to the phone, this is the layout that we made, and at the same time, this is how it works. For at the start, we created an easy layout for the people for them to unlock their phone. Then, since our prototype is focused on Pinterest, we will be going towards the app to cover what changes that we made. So the Pinterest originally is created with the navigation bar below. So what we change here is we put the navigation bar at the side so everybody can see where the navigation bar is. At the same time, we minimize the pictures and the GIF a bit. So whenever you click it, it zooms. Then it continues in a one lane type of picture. Then moving on is each of this button is directing to the home page. This button is directed to the home page, I mean. At the same time, this does the same thing. Then, second is we move on to the profile where we arrange the pins or the albums that you created, as well as providing a much clearer and organized pins, unlike from the Pinterest where it is all cluttered up. So it's like acting like a storage or folder. Then moving on to the navigation tab where you can choose any of these and or any of these topics that you desire, so it can automatically sort out what type of topics that you are trying to find. Then moving on to the create where you can easily create with type of post and to type of post for the for the content. We created this so or we rearrange it so it will prevent any confusion. It acts like a formity. Then moving on to the message where you can where it is usually cluttered up sometimes. So we created a type of message environment where it is similar to other apps that is only only visible is the name and the picture. At the same time, if you receive an urgent message, it will show up a notification up here. Sadly, it's only mid fidelity, so we'll be moving on to the notification where we created the notification in a much organized and at the same time is a neat way. And as you can see, the whole ordeal of this is trying to rearrange everything at the same time is make everything more visible and much more easier to comprehend for everyone. Then, as we go to the settings, we also provided what type of services that we may offer, like to the account where it redirect the user to the account for it to edit. Then the about is for the page where you can see what is the about the application all about. Then the home feed tuner where you can enhance the sorting of the navigation part of the application. The report and violence center where we tried to focus on where every reported type of picture and unnecessary and prohibited picture it will be sent to be banned. The help center where the questions or the follow up frequently asked questions are visible there. Then we also put the terms of service so we know the users will know what services that we that the application is trying to give them or to trying to offer them. Then to the terms of condition, so and as well as the your privacy is right and privacy policy, they are all the same where they explain where what type of what activities that will be doing using your privacy information. Now moving on to the last thing is the accessibility settings, where I focus everything about the inclusivity and flexibility. Now moving on to the accessibility settings, where we focus on helping the people that are in needs and mostly the people with less capabilities on handling the application. So we provided the AI assistant, so people we may ask and provide provide assistance to the whole application, like asking the frequently asked questions or uh, that they, asking the AI to search for you. Then moving on to the font size, where we there's three options where small, medium, and large. Small uh, small fonts are for the farsighted, since we concluded that farsighted must have a much more much more visibility when it's far away. But if we minimize the text, it might help them. Then moving on to the medium size font, where is the normal size or the normality of the eyesight is uh, grouped. Then moving on to the large font, where for the nearsighted. Now moving on to the dark mode for those who can't adjust their eyesight from the environment, especially from the whenever it's nighttime. Now moving on to the voice command activation, where it's just like AI, but it's more direct without following up like talking to talking to someone. It's just like a command being given, and it is straight up to the point where it doesn't need any explanations. Then moving on to the colorblind mode, which is I implemented since some people are seeing in grayscale in wrong type of color. So each user can follow up what type of pictures or what type of uploaded content are in the application. Moving on to the reading mode is for the eyesight again. So they won't have any difficulties on having their eyesight adjusting again, but this time it's in a more comfortable, since in reading mode it only focuses on one type of line within the or one type of spot in the application. Now moving on to the bedtime mode. To the bedtime mode, it is where every like it is just like dark mode, but whenever you're trying to read something in the dark, it is more comfortable with it. At the same time, is much more applicable whenever you're trying to have a limitation to your bed or to your sleep. This is trying to help the insomniac that is having trouble to stop finding content within the application. And lastly is the auto brightness, where it will automatically change the brightness based on the environment. If it's too bright, it will go a bit more. If the screen is too bright, it will lower its brightness. And whenever if the application detects that it doesn't have too much brightness that you can barely see, then it will automatically lights it up. Now moving on to the tablet version of it. The tablet version, I just made it everything much more uh, based on the shape of or based on the lengthwise and height-wise of the tablet. I made it in a more much more applicable way. So it functions as the same, though the difference is this is much more have the advantage, since in the accessibility settings the font size has more space and more content to be set in. That's the only difference between the tablet and the phone. And that's all, and thank you.